Hello everyone, welcome to our first lesson on Excel. This is Dr. Hassan from Henry Ford College. I'd like to introduce you Excel. Excel is one of the most powerful tool, very simple tool that used by all engineers, again accountant and many other career. The reason for Excel to be widely used is because it has all sorts of applications. So in here, I just use some sticky notes to talk about Excel could be used just to record some data, could be some spreadsheets. Again, is a very good tool for recording. In this case, format will be important. You like to have nice looking tables. You can actually do some calculation with it. So you can use different formulas if you want to do some, again, for instance, in your bills, if you want to predict your future bills or you want to see how much you spent so far, you can see trend line of your bills. You can use Excel for calculation. Once the widely used another application of Excel is summarize and visualize data. So meaning that you have millions of records, and then from this million of records you want to get meaningful information. And last one, use of Excel for computation. So meaning that you can use Excel to solve problems. Again, in this Engineering 125 class, we talk about all these four applications. Let me just to get started with the Excel. So once you open an Excel software, again in this case I'm using Excel from Office 365 on the web, not on the web, this is just a PC application on a Windows. On the top I have a menu of File, Home, Insert, Draw. You can click on each of them one by one. So file will be used if you want to store your file, and then you can actually save, use a save as, you can save it as a PDF. And then on the home, so before even I start with Excel, I like to tell you what's going on inside the Excel. So inside Excel you can see something called cell. So what's the cell? Let me just to flip this page. So as you can see a structure within Excel, we have numbers starting from 1 going to million, billion, I don't know. Used to be up to million, now it is more, but we never recommend to put millions of data in Excel. It becomes too heavy to work with that file. In the other side, you have from A, letters going to Z, and then after Z, we have AA, and then move on to the rest of the letters. So I can say that every grid in here, we call it a cell. Like for instance, where is here column 2, row 2, I'm going to call this B2. If I go with the cursor, click on that, so it's going to show B2 right here to me. So I can see the B2 on the corner. Like if I put a number on B2, like for instance, if I put 68 on B2, number 68, if anywhere else I call B2, if I say equal to B2, it's going to return the value from B2. So if I go there and then change the value in B2 to something else, like for instance, if I change the value in B2 to Excel, just a letter, right? It brings back that value for us. The next one that we have in Excel, something called range. So if you want to get into from this place to this place, we're going to call this B2 to, for instance, where I selected B2 all the way to F5. Or in this case, I can say that the range is going from C5, so C and then 5 going all the way to E7. What's again, except this types of application, let's get started with the menu. On the menu, the next one that I want to talk a little bit on it, the home. The home is usually used for formatting all the data that we have in Excel. So formatting is very important in Excel because we use all sorts of formats. Like for instance, if we have something like a date, if I just go here, talk about number format, we have all sorts of number formats. So the number formats could be general. So sometimes we are looking to find the general one. Like again, for now, would be like it's already general, right? So if I put something in there, let me just to put a number like 23, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 point. Should type here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.78. So I have this number here. Now, if I have this number at general, Okay, let's do what other formats I can have. I can have it as a number, again with 2 digits. I can have it as a currency, so it gets shifted with the dollar and the cents. I can have it as a short date. What does this even mean? 3/20/1964. It did change, right? So I could have this as a long date. I could have this as a time. 6:43 p.m. What does that even mean? It used to be a number there. I like to get back to that number. And you can see here it's showing as a long one, 3/20/1964, 6:34 p.m. If I want to get back to the general, I just click here and then make it general, because many times we like to get to the general or the opposite way. Now, what does the meaning of this? When I change it to date, remember the date starts from something. If I put, for instance, type 1, I want to see what the date of 1 is. I go back to the date, and then you can see the date of 1 is the first day of 1900, right? So you start counting from there, and right now is today. I can just put what's the day of today is. Sorry, I should put today like this. Okay, today is August 24, 2020. If I want to get into this as a number, so once I click here, I can change this to general, and this is the date for today. So meaning that from the first day of 1900, we had 44,797 days from that. Now, the dot that I have here, dot 78, that's count for the time, right? The time starts from 0 and then go all the way to 1. So if I have, like, for instance, if I put 0, let me just to type in some number, 0, 0.5, and then 1. So if I change this 3 to time, I want to see what's happening. If I change this 3 to time, I'm going to have 12 a.m. here, 12 p.m. here, and 12 a.m., right? So 0 is 12 a.m., you go to 12 p.m., and then you come back to 12 a.m. If I instead of this, if I have 0.75, I think this is going to be 6 p.m., right? 0.75 will be 6 p.m. It is 6 p.m. If I have 0.25, that will be 6 a.m. So meaning that I'm going to get the day and chop it into 24 pieces. Each of these pieces will be that hour. Again, in types of formatting, we should be able to understand this formatting and change the format. If something doesn't look all right, go back there and then change the formatting. Again, we talk about formatting. The next one I want to talk about is what's going on. So everything on the formatting will be on this. We'll be back to do lots of other formatting. Insert is when you want to create a graph, when you want to do pivot table, you want to create charts, you want to just bring something from outside, you want to bring a graph image from outside, you can insert it in here. Draw is the panel for drawing if you have a pen. Page layout is used if you want to, like, for instance, if I want to do printing on this page right now, if I do Control P and I look at the printing, it looks like this. I can change the format of my page, make it horizontal, and I can do all those switching around on it. Again, as you can see, the dot came here. If I change the orientation to landscaping, the dot changed to here because I changed the format of my page. From the orientation of it, you can change the margin. Formulas will be extensively used, but we're not going to use the formulas from here. We know the formula. We need to use the syntax of the formula. For instance, in this case, if you want to get the month of this, you can go here and then look for the month. There is the date and time. In here, I need to look for a month. Let me see. Do we have a month? Yeah, this is the month. I'm going to say, okay, month of what? So I'm going to click on, I want to get the month of this. So the month of this is month 3, which used to be like 1964, the March. So 3 stands for the month of March. You can use the formulas from there, or you can simply type in the syntax, depending on how we use. Data is where we use, again, mostly we're going to use the sort and the filter here from the data. What if analysis we use. And then down here, there are some stuff that they are not there. We will import them next time, Solver. And then there are 2 more libraries, data pack analysis toolbox, so we need to bring them there. Again, review would be if you want to add comments to your file and much more. But again, widely using, we're going to use home, we can use data. These 2 pages will be widely used in our course for calculation. So before I proceed more, I like to open an Excel file and then get into some calculation. So I already have Excel file here, gasoline US properties. You can download it. The link is below. Okay, open this file. And when you open this file, you have the yellow bar there. Click on Enable Editing. So once you have this open, I can start playing with this Excel file. In this Excel file, I have some gasoline properties, and then I have the conventional gasoline, and I have the RFG gas. You can see there are different sheets here. So called sheets. You can add more sheets if you click on this plus here, and then you can rename them. If you right click and then click on rename, you can change the name of the sheet appropriate to what you want to do. In this case, so let me just to talk about, like for instance, I have a table here. I want to change the format of this table, right? I want to make it just look nicer. The data already recorded, as I told you, you can record the data on it. I'm going to go back to the home and then look for format as a table, right? Just click on this. It's going to make it look like nicer as a table, right? Or I could have it in different color. I can select different color. I can select different format. So this will make my table stand out, and then I can see it better. Sometimes you want to do conditional formatting, like for instance, you want to see the number which are bigger here show in different scale. Like for instance, in different years we have the oxygen concentration. I want to see the years that I have a higher oxygen weight or I have a higher methanol percentage. I can highlight them with different color. You click on conditional formatting, and then you can have, okay, let's have a scale bar here. The number which are higher, they become red. The number which are lower, they become, look like green, right? It becomes more green. You can change this conditional formatting as you want, but it could become confusing. Again, I'm not going to use it on this table, but that option is also available. Now, what else you like to do on this? Again, you can do conditional formatting and much more. I like to talk a lot on copy paste in Excel. We have all sorts of copy paste in Excel. Like you can do copying with simply selecting. So you go over your mouse and then select the table like what I did. So when I select it, I can right click and then I can click on copy, or you can just simply do Control C. That will be copy. Once you copy it, you can see these ants are marching around the selection. I'm going to go to a new sheet. In a new sheet, so I right click, I have so many options for a paste. I have the first one, I have the second one, third one. You can see sort of options are there. Just to be better clarify what's the meaning of those. The meaning of those, each of them, like for instance, if I have the regular paste, it will paste everything in there. If I have the paste of values, it's just gonna paste the values for me. Paste of formula, it does the paste of formula, and I can have a paste special. So let's go over, just for instance, I like to right click on it and then paste it as it is right here. So you can see the table in the other is kind of changed because of the room that I don't have here. I can actually make my column wider if you if you can select all of those and then you can do a double click here. This will change, make sure that every numbers are fitting within those columns. Again, the way that I did it is that I select the column on the top, you just click on it, and then you drag it. Right? Once I drag the mouse, I can right click on it. I can change the column width. Like for instance, right now is 8.11. I can make it 10. Or again, it didn't even fit this time. I can just double click somewhere where I selected on the top between the columns. If I double click here, it will fit them in there. So alternatively, when I copy, I did some Control Z to go back. Control Z means undo, you go back. So I could right click here and then I could do a paste special. In the paste special, I have so many things that I can select. I can select values, format, and different things. Unfortunately, the transpose is not there, and I know the reason is that because I have a conditional formatting here. I need to get rid of this conditional formatting. So I'm going to go back to the home, and then, I have it formatted as a table. I want to say that, again, I need to find a way to get rid of the table. I could just do some Control Z, and then no format as a table there. Now I can copy it again, Control C again, I go back to the new sheet, I can right click on it and do a paste spatial. On the paste spatial, I like to flip my data, right? In the data that I have right now, if I flip them, I have a better understanding. I can do the calculation for it. Like for instance, if I want to find the average of the oxygen weight, it will be so much easier to deal with it when I make it like this. So again, when I paste it as a transpose, so I flip them. If you consider this table, in this table the years are on the top, in the other table the years are on the columns, right? They are on the rows. Now for instance, if I want to see how much the total of volume of gasoline from 1997 to 2005, how much the total volume was, so I could just simply type in here equal to sum, meaning that the total of it, and then I can select it, right? So if I could select a range, because in this case when I deal with the sum, meaning the total of it, I'm dealing with all of it. So you can click on it and drag it down, so that will select all of it. Or I could just do it simply with an equation on the range. So in this case, I'm looking for, I can say equal to, I'm looking for sum, SUM, of C3. So I can just type in C3, that's a range, right? Going all the way to C11. There you go. So this is actually the total volume consumption. Again, I made it bigger. Again, could be hard to read this number. You can make this number scientific. So 1.2 times 10 to the power of 11. That's actually the gasoline consumption over the years. If I want to calculate the sum for the rest of them, we will do the dragging. Again, in the next video, when we talk about formulas, I will go over all sort of details. So the next one that I like to talk about filtering, how we filter the data, and then how we sort the data. In this case, I like to sort the data, for instance, based on the gasoline consumption. I like to sort the data, the year which was lower consumption to be on the top, with higher consumption to be at the bottom. In order to sort your data, to do the filtering, you can click on the data tab and then you can click on the sort. Or simply I select the data, I can select on this arrow up and down, right? For instance, from A to Z, there you go. Expand the selection, make sure it's on, otherwise it's going to mess up with your data. So expand selection is on, and then you can see the year of the data changed, 1997, 98, then we have 2000 more than that, and then 2004 was more than the rest of it. So I sort the data based on the gasoline consumption. If I wanna, for instance, have two types of sort, one with volume consumption, the next one with ethanol volume, right? I like to do two sorts, like first sort by this, then sort by this. In that case, you can go with this. You can go to the multiple sort up there, and then you can actually select what you want to be first. The first one to be volume with the gallons of, sorry, I said later, gallon, and then I can add a second level for methanol percentage. Again, I can have a smallest from largest or largest from smallest, and then press OK. So that's another, again, I did two types of filtering. So the first filter go with this, the next filter will go with the methanol percent. Right now it doesn't show much changes because I don't have multiple years here. So I talk about the sort. Let's talk about filter. So in filter, like for instance, you want to filter where the methanol percentage are 0.1. You want to filter those years, those data. So you simply click on the filter here. When you click on the filter, it will create these arrows there. And then if you click on those arrows, you can actually select what you want to select. You can select, okay, I'm looking just for 0.2, 0.02, and that's those years. You can copy this data, paste it somewhere else. Or if you are interested in a different types of filter, like for instance, you are interested to filter for MTBE above 8, right? So you can go there, and then you can go to number filter. I'm looking for anything which is greater than 8, and then press OK, and that's filtered everything that's greater than 8. Very easy, right? So far what I explained, I'm just going to recap on what we talked in this video, we talk about all sort of things that's going on the menu on the top. We talk about how to do the formatting, and then we talk a lot on number formattings. Then we talk about format as a table. We talk about sort and filter, how to do the sort and filter. Again, in the next video, we'll start talking about the formulas in Excel. Thank you for watching.